We're on May 8th. May 8th. I just had a sad thing happen, man. It really was. I was posting up about my show and I had a memory pop up and there's the RV at Green River Lake State Park. And I'm like, oh my God. Why do I got to figure out a way. And if anybody can help me with this, let me know. I got to figure out a way to stop having all these memories pop up from Green River Lake State Park because that is out this year, probably going to be out next year. Anybody want to buy an RV? I got a great RV willing to give you an outstanding price on, you know, but yeah, it keeps popping up. Oh, here's your memory. Yeah, well, that's a damn memory. So I guess that's why we make memories. So hopefully we're making some memories here on Turfs Up Radio today with you guys. Probably so. But we got either you're giving me some memories or I'm going to give you some memories. But regardless, somebody's going to have some memories today. But we got I think Matt Griffin with Bam Weather's going to hop on with me here in a little bit. They had a meeting this morning and we're going to try to get done in time. Well, no, they weren't going to get done in time to get on here, but if they got done in time, they were going to hop on here with me. So I'm looking forward to that. So, Brett, I appreciate you helping coordinate that if that works out well. If not, we'll get them on next week one day. They're always really cool about hopping on with us. But I hope you're having a great day. We got a great weather day here in Kentucky. Oh, my God. Woke up this morning, it was low 40s. And I had a notice from, God, I almost say it, Green River Lake, Campbellsville, where it's located, that there we go. They had a low of like 38, 39, something like that. So, I mean, it is that time of the year. I mean, we got really warm really fast, you know. So, I don't know. I don't want to get into all my weather discussion, but that was the reality of it. So, now that we're more seasonal with lows and highs and things, it seems like we're going backwards, and we kind of are, but we're actually on averages. So, anyways, happy Mother's Day weekend. I want to get that out there to all you mothers out there that listen to us and spouses. So, happy Mother's Day weekend. In case I forget when I sign off, to say that, I want to go ahead and get that taken care of. And so, don't forget your mom. Don't forget your spouse. Don't forget whoever it is that is the mother and takes care of your kiddos with you. So, oh Lord, let's see. Mike's sending me a text here. Let's see. Should go down to Seth's neck of the woods and camp. There's a couple lakes there. Damn, Seth. Seth's been holding back. Mike, thanks. Seth hadn't said anything at all about that. You know, all these times, last 2 years, I've been complaining about not having somewhere to go, down and camp on a lake. He's never told me that. So, Seth, if you listen to this live or you catch it on replay, I want to know where it's at, buddy. You let me know because I've really wanting to do a little bit of camping, man. I've got the fever, and I couldn't believe it. Really, it just popped up. You know how they pop up on your feed where it says then and now, and you can change the picture. I just leave those blank because that's what mine are now with relationship to the lake is they're blank. So, but Mike, thanks for letting me know that. I'm gonna throw a rock at Seth and see if I can hit him in the head and wake him up and see what he does. Hey, let him know that hey, I'm looking. My old buddy Aaron, he showed me a picture the other day of a place where he's at now. So, but yeah, Mike said Barren River's where he likes to go. So, that's a nice lake. It's not too far, but it's a little bit further. Seth said, "Come on down. There's no hockey, but we can have fun." All right, fair enough. No, 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 no. That's all right. Looking for a place, Seth. Where's a good place to camp down there? Mike said you got nice little areas down there to go camping. So I'm looking for a place where I can just take my RV and leave it all summer, man, on a site set up. Pay. I don't mind paying for it. I just need a place to go. And, so that's what I'm looking for. So if anybody knows where that's out there, and I don't want to be on gravel, I've camped on gravel before. Oh my God. One time we did a gravel adventure, Jane and I, and it was the worst thing we ever did in our life. I mean, it was just, as far as having fun goes, it wasn't the worst adventure, but it was um, the worst thing in an attempt to have fun we did, because you just can't keep with all the dust of cars moving around and people riding golf carts around. Just that constant dust, man, was crazy. So I want something that's paved. So, anyways, we really got off on a tangent this morning, but that's all right. But hey, I hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great week. And if not, let's figure out how we're going to fix that for you, man. What do we need to do? What do we need to adjust? What do we need to change? We got a few things like that we're going to talk about today for sure. I know here at WLS, we probably got a good solid half day going today is what our plan is. We had a good weather week, and today we're out doing some landscaping, finishing up a nice little landscape we've been working on about, I don't know, 2.5 days, I think. So we're going to get it finished this morning and hopefully have a really satisfied and happy client. That's what we're trying to do with that. And doing a little fertilization, a weed control, a little shop maintenance, and going to get out of here today. So that's what our plan is. Got a gentleman coming in a little bit later for an interview for a job. So hopefully that goes well. Everybody cross your fingers for us on that, okay? Seems to be a pretty decent person. Comes highly recommended. So we'll see how that goes, and I will definitely keep you guys informed on that. So, but yeah, he's supposed to come in around 11:30 this afternoon, or this morning. So, I guess technically 11:30 still morning. We transition at noon, I guess. So, but Mike and Seth, I appreciate y'all's input already this morning, to say the least. Hopefully, y'all got a good weekend planned. Be curious to know, what are y'all doing this weekend? Anybody out there in Turfs Up Radio Land, let me know. 502-550-8307. That's 502-550-8307. Let me know what you got fun playing this weekend. Hopefully you got something good going on. I'm thinking about maybe heading to a baseball game tonight. Let's see. That is so true. Oh, here's my buddy from BAM. Matt, is that you?
Well, it's me, Wayne. How you doing?
Great, man. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
A long time no talk.
I know, man. We've almost got to where we like Brett, but Brett will never replace you. You can tell him I said that.
Oh, man. You're going to make me blush.
Hey, man, you were our first. You know that first one you always remember.
That's right. Well, Brett's awesome, but
no, I love Brett. We really do.
I love doing this for you.
Yeah, I appreciate you jumping in there in a pinch for us and covering for old Brett. No, we really do like Brett too. One of our I don't know if he shared this with you guys or not, but one of our listeners sent the text in and said they love Brett's hair. So
oh yeah, Brett. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I've even seen that on social media somewhere. Someone saying
so everybody's loving on his hairdo. Huh?
Oh yeah, his beautiful locks. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
He got his hair a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did he?
For a while. He got the flow going. Oh yeah.
He's looking good. Looking good for him. All right. Well, hey, do you think that came down from top, or did did that come from headquarters from his spouse? You think, or
I had some insider knowledge, and I'm pretty sure it did. So,
I hear you. That happens sometimes. Oh my gosh.
Yep, absolutely.
But hey, I appreciate you.
I used to have long hair too.
Did you really?
I had hair down to my shoulders. Yeah.
Dang, man.
A lifetime ago. I know.
You're not old enough to have a lifetime ago yet, man. Come on.
I don't know. It seems like a lifetime ago.
I hear you. I remember when 40 was old, man.
Yeah, well, I'm pushing it, man.
Are you? I do. I remember my 40th birthday. I went four-wheeling for the first time ever. Some friends took me four-wheeling for my 40th birthday. And that
makes you feel young again. There you go.
That was a mistake. Trust me, because this group that I went with, one was more wide open than the other, and
I was going to say it makes you feel young again, but maybe it just made you feel really old.
Yeah. So they decided we were going to go out for a little while and then go four wheeling about midnight. So yeah, so we went four wheeling from about midnight to 4 a.m. And
Oh man.
yeah, but hey, we survived.
That's a bit fun. Yeah.
That's all that mattered. But we survived it. But no,
Mhm.
seriously, hey, I appreciate you hopping on with us. For you
Yeah.
guys listening to us, we got Matt Griffin with BAM Weather. That's BAMWX .com. So Matt, what's going on weather-wise, buddy? It was started out cool here today.
Yeah, the first it's been kind of cool lately. Around your neck of the woods, Wayne, a lot of the northeastern part of the country, it's been cool. As far as today, the highlight's going to be into the south and east. We've got a cluster of storms kind of already working their way in eastern Texas, Louisiana, and that's going to continue to drift almost due east throughout the day today. So some parts of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, southern Georgia areas that have been very dry. They've gotten some rains as of late. In fact, even some really solid rains, flooding rains in some areas in the south and east. I think out through Monday, there's a couple opportunities for rain, some storms, even some stronger storms into the south and to the east. And again, the drop there has been, pretty nasty. So that's going to help bring at least some relief. I'm concerned though, as we get into the following week, March, call it, 15th through 21st, it probably gets dry back down there. As far as further north, into the Ohio Valley and to the northeast, there are going to be some periodic, some pesky rain chances upcoming. It seems about every other day, Wayne, for some rain chances. I think especially to your north, Wayne, areas
All
close
right.
to the I-70 corridor and to the north, it's going to be much more pesky close towards the Ohio River. But there will be at least some rainfall opportunities, some pesky rain. I call it nuisance rain over the next 7 days or so.
All right.
I do think as we head into mid-month, we get into mid-May, we do start to see a little bit of a pattern flip. So we'll generally be cooler the first half of May for much of the eastern U.S. The western U.S., you get towards into the plains, into the Rockies, West Coast. It's going to be warm over the next 7 days, but then things start to shift east a little bit, and the warmth does start to spill into the Ohio Valley. It's just going to be ever present into the central plains. It'll be warmer into the Rocky Mountains, and it starts to get a little cooler along the West Coast and Pacific Northwest as well. But as this occurs, I think we get a pattern a little bit like what we saw in April, where it offered up a lot of rain chances from Texas up into Wisconsin, Michigan, and anywhere kind of in between. Likely we're going to have some severe weather pickup as we head to mid to late month as well. And I mentioned this earlier, drier into the south and to the east, kind of that 15th through 21st time frame. It's really, Wayne, I'd say the uncertain area where there's going to be some rain type of chances, 15th, 21st is kind of where I'm at, where you're at. I would say southern Illinois, central southern Indiana, and then central southern Ohio. That's going to be a bit of the battleground spot as we head into kind of that mid late month. But I do think as we head late May, warmth will continue. We start to see that warmth expand east a little bit, and that should offer up for a time last part of the month, early June, some better rainfall chances. Getting into those areas I just discussed, southern Illinois, central southern Indiana, central southern Ohio. I think where the rain is going to be most persistent late into the month, like the last week or so of the month,
All right.
probably going to be the southern plains, and then areas that again need it. Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, some of those areas, and I think it starts to get drier for folks further north into the northern plains. So Wayne, I'd say it's a pretty typical spring type of pattern, right? Where we get into some of these more active stretches, it's not as active, and then it ramps back active again. We're starting out cool, things gradually warm as we head deeper into the month, as a general idea.
I got you. How about our friends on the like Pennsylvania, New York? We got a lot of listeners up that way. What do you think?
Yeah,
What's happening up their way?
So I think in terms of the next 7 days, they're definitely going to be included in some of those pesky rain chances. In
Okay.
fact, I think especially um, they're probably going to have a little bit more rain versus say you or I will. An inch or so of rain I think is certainly at play. Pennsylvania, and I would say southeast New York, the further northwest New York is probably going to be a little bit drier over the next 7 days, but there will be several rain chances. They're going to be a bit in the same boat like we are about rain chances every other day. Probably some consecutive day stretches of rain in those parts, but do get some rain over the next 7 days. As we get to that 15th to 21st time frame, and it's especially northwest portions of New York State. You get a little bit of lake enhancement for some moisture up there. There will be some periodic rain. I don't think it's bone dry, but I do think it does generally get drier for folks Pennsylvania and then towards the Atlantic shoreline,
Right.
where it's not going to be as active. And then that last part of May, getting into early June, I do think for some of those areas, there's probably going to be a wetter stretch kind of closer to May 22nd, and then gradually becoming more dry as we head into the last couple of days of May, getting into June. Day two, Wayne, will experience some warm up as well. The deeper into May we work, but it's gonna work. The warmth is gonna work its way first over us, and then it's gradually going to bleed east with time.
That's a good question, Matt. Something when
Yeah.
you were talking just a minute ago about lake enhanced weather.
Yeah.
Does that happen in the summer as well as because you always hear lake effect snow, but do they get lake effect rain as well?
Yes. So that's a great question, Wayne. There is a difference between lake enhancement and lake effect. And so when we meteorologists, we love all our fancy technical terms that no one else can understand. Lake effect is essentially precipitation that's occurring just because the lake is there, right? If that lake wasn't there, it would never even have occurred, right? Lake enhanced is there's already some rain, but the moisture is being enhanced because that air is moving over a body of water. It's adding moisture into the atmosphere, and so it's helping add in some rain into the picture. But there can be at times lake effect rain, and that especially occurs when we have really cold air move over the warmer lake. That's when you can really start to get the lake effect rain. It's not as common as we get to spring and the summer, because that temperature difference between the water and then up in the atmosphere is less extreme than we see in winter. Because in winter, the air about 5,000 feet up could be, negative 15 degrees and the lake's still 40 degrees, right? Big difference. You don't get that big difference in spring and summer. So you don't necessarily get lake effect a lot, but you do still get that extra moisture from lake enhancement.
There you go, man. I knew we'd learn something today. There you go.
Yeah.
And you might think, oh, well, yeah, that's right. You think, oh, well, what's that matter? Well, conversationally, it matters when you're talking to people. Yeah,
and it's a factor, right? For folks downwind of the Great Lakes, you oftentimes, especially when we get these cooler shots of air and these pesky rain chances, you can sometimes benefit moisture-wise because of where you're at versus the lake.
I got a question. A guy that listens to us here, he's in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I know you addressed that southeast side, but he said they finally got a really good rain the last day and a half or so. And and he said they're really way down though. What do you think their mid range looks like in that part of the country? I know that Charlotte area. Going to get more coming up, you think, or is it going to be more of a scattered thing? Or
for Charlotte, I'm pulling up the map. I'm talking to.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I'm concerned for Charlotte over the next, let's call it 7 days. I do think there's some rainfall opportunities there, especially heading into the weekend and through Monday. But I'm concerned the bulk of the rain is going to be closer to the Atlantic coast, and then for their friends down into South Carolina, and then Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama.
Okay.
Um, so I don't think it's not going to. He's not going to, in my opinion, going to get a substantial amount of rain
All right.
over the next 7 days, unfortunately. But some rain there. It's certainly not going to completely flip the script for him. I know the rains he's gotten was solid, but it's not going to be what I call game changing rain
Okay.
over the next 7 days, unfortunately, for him. I think after that, the pattern does turn back to dry. So I do think things probably start to deteriorate once again for him as we head really beyond Monday and then getting towards about the 21st of May. I think the pattern reverts back to something that's drier, unfortunately. So I don't
Okay.
see in those particular areas a whole lot of substantial rain in Charlotte. It's late May, early June. That's when I think things start to pick up. I would say, especially the last couple of days of May, and then getting into early June, because it's gradually with time. The rains I talked about, that 15th to 22nd time frame that are out in the plains, that's going to slowly but surely start to spread east with time. It's just going to take a little bit of time for that to occur.
All right.
I don't need to tell him, especially patterns similar to April we're going to get into. He was very dry in April. And so it's probably going to be a little bit of a rinse repeat pattern heading into the middle part of May.
All right. Well, good deal. Good deal. And one other, I got one other well, actually two questions, and I appreciate all
Yeah,
your extra time today. But
yeah, absolutely.
how much pressure's on you guys at BAM Weather? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I saw where you guys are the official weather team for Indianapolis 500, I think. Um,
So
how
not
much
necessarily a 500, but the 500 event.
the
Um,
festival? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we do have
How,
some
what's that
races
feel like?
that are clients.
What's that, what's that feel like? How much pressure's that on you guys to, I know you
You
can't
know,
change the weather, but
right. I mean, we forecast for a lot of clients like the Indy 500, whether it's the Chicago Cubs or the Pittsburgh Steelers, to name a few. And so, when I first started, certainly you felt the pressure, right? But I've been doing this so long, I really don't feel it. For me, especially, I'm just trying to help. You know what I mean?
right.
I don't. There's no pressure per se. I'm doing what I can with my expertise to help, right?
Yes.
Um,
Don't,
and
is
and I
this a
know,
deal? Don't kill the messenger moment, you know? It's don't kill the messenger, man. I'm just trying to help you figure out how to manage around what I think's going to happen, you know?
exactly. Yeah, we can't control the weather, but we can tell them essentially what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And if they need to discuss, decision making, we can do that with them. Um, but yeah, some situations have more pressure than others, but with time, it's just it kind of the pressure goes away, so to
I
speak.
think it's
But
awesome to,
it's some.
I mean, I'll just tell you straight up. I love being associated with you guys and the help that BAM gives us, with running our business. And anybody that wants a good weather source should definitely reach out to bamwx.com. I mean that 100%. And
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the return on the investment's great.
Wayne, I appreciate you saying that, but whether it's the Indy 500 or it's for you, Wayne, right? You've got thousands of dollars on the line with whatever decision you're making,
Right.
right? They have their concerns are maybe a little bit different. Sure, there's financial decisions and obviously the safety of the people going to that event and how things are run, but there's still money on the line, right? There's
Correct.
still, consequences. And so, there's pressure in any type of question that comes from a client. It doesn't matter where they're coming from.
Right.
That's
The-
just part of our job.
One of our listeners just sent us a neat text. He says, "You guys just read the future, you don't write it."
That's
that's
that's right.
that's about the
Uh,
truth, isn't it?
yeah, we try to predict the future, and sometimes
So
it seems kind of crazy, right? We're even predicting the future at all, right?
yeah,
3, 4, 5 days down the line, things haven't even happened yet. But sometimes we'll feel it from folks, right? If they don't like our forecast, well, there's nothing we can do about it. But
yeah.
that just is what it is, Wayne.
One other question I've gotten is
Yep.
this is just a personal question about the Clarity app. Okay,
Hmm.
on the now on the part where you click now and it gives you current conditions and all. What
Yep.
is the feature at the top that says wet bulb? What is a wet bulb?
So that's a great question. And this one,
Is that something I need to worry about as a contractor, or our listeners need to think about as a contractor?
so in this case, you notice how it says wet bulb GT.
Yes.
That GT stands for global temperature, and it's it's very similar to a feels like temperature. In fact, it's basically it's the same type of measurement. It's a apparent temperature, right? It's not the real temperature, but it is almost like it feels like temperature, but it takes into account a lot more atmospheric things, so to speak, versus what feels like. Feels like just temperature and humidity. Wet bulb takes into account sun angle, winds, evaporative cooling, so drying power of the wind, etc. It takes into account a lot. And there are certain thresholds of that wet bulb global temperature where, for instance, a lot of folks who run outdoor events will use this, or schools where it's not safe to exert physical exhaustion outside, right? I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know what those values are,
I got you.
but there's certain numbers once you hit, it starts to become a little bit more stressful on the body to be outside. So it's like feels like temperature, just a little bit more complicated. And a lot of folks are starting to turn to that versus feels like temperature because it is a little bit more scientific than the feels like temperature.
I got one question just text in that somebody asked me to ask you. It says,
Yeah.
"Why do you do a feels like temperature? Is it a true measure of the real temperature in the shade, or is that what it feels like in the sun?" He said, "I've always wondered that."
I believe feels like temperature is out in the sun. I'd have to double check that.
Okay,
But the reason we do that is because 90 degrees and no moisture feels completely different than 90 degrees and high moisture. We all know that, right?
right.
It gives a layman's way of describing how miserable it's going to be, essentially, right? Um,
Fair enough. All
because
right.
because if you say it's 90 degrees outside, okay, fine. You may be able to hang out outside by the pool, but if 90 degrees and it feels like I'm 115, well, you probably just don't even want to bother with it, right? Or maybe
Okay.
you just want to stay in the pool per se. But just a quick and dirty way of telling people how miserable it's going to be
It,
without showing them a feels like temperature and a relative humidity value, which then you have to understand what the heck's relative humidity. So
all right. Well, good deal. Hey, I appreciate all your time this morning, Matt. I really do, man. That was above and
yeah,
beyond the call of duty. You guys really helped me out here on Turfs Up, and our listeners appreciate it, and appreciate the truthfulness that you guys give them and me on a regular basis. To help
yeah,
run our businesses as well.
of course.
So,
I'd
so
love to do it, Wayne. You're a great guy. I love chatting with you. So
have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day if it's applicable. And hey, as always, we appreciate BAM and everything you guys do for us. And honest to God, for total dollars spent, return on investments is better than anything we do here at Wayne's Lawn Service, percentage wise. I
yeah,
mean, like you said, even though we're a smaller company compared to True Greens and these bigger companies, there's still a lot of money that can be saved for you guys that are running even one truck operations out there. The cost of making a decision to go out or not. Or hey, man,
yeah,
wait till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or whatever time frame it is. You can get that type of information, from those guys at BAM 24/7, whether it's snow, rain, sleet, doesn't matter. So, Matt, thanks again. Reach out to them at BAM wx.com and use coupon code Wayne20 and they'll save you a little bit of money. So,
Yeah, I'll likewise, Wayne. Appreciate you, and yeah, that discount code for you and your listeners still good to go. So
all right. Well,
use that.
thanks a lot.
Good time to do so. So
All
have
right,
a good one, Wayne.
Matt, have a good one. Thanks again, my friend.
I'll
All
see
right.
you.
Bye bye. All right. That was Matt Griffin. We haven't had him on for a minute. Yay. So nice to talk to Matt and Brett. And, their team up there is just great to work with. I mean, whether it's male, female, they're all really great at what they do. And that doesn't even matter. All you want is accurate information that's not sensationalized, and that's what they offer. So, give them a buzz. I mean, they got very, very affordable, you know, uh, plans for everybody based on, whatever it is you feel like you need. But I will, and I sincerely mean that when I say it's one of the best investments we make and help running our company here at WLS. And we just want to help you guys be more successful, more profitable as well. And, that starts with something better than a phone app for the weather, especially when you want to dial in on some timing and, hey, how long do we really have before the afternoon storms get here? Or how long should we wait to go out in the morning? All those are big choices that we make each and every day when there's any kind of weather involved. Me, you, and all of us together. So, anyways, hey, we'll be right back. We're going to take a short break. Do you guys use battery hedge trimmers? And the answer to that is yes. And then the follow up to that was, do they cut like the high end gas ones? Just curious. And yes, absolutely. We just implemented those into our fleet uh, this week, actually. And what I will say is, if you're gonna buy some, certainly buy the commercial version. Okay, it's like anything. Don't go out and buy the residential version, put it in a commercial application, and expect the result to be a commercial result. Okay, what I can say is, I mean, we implemented still that HAS 100 hedge clippers is what we bought a few of and a couple of them this week and or implemented them this week and to try. And when I say try, we purchased them; they're ours, and positive feedback from our guys this week using them. Okay, here's the thing that our dealer support told us is that the first thing you got to get past is the fact that they're not nearly as loud. And for some reason, we associated noise with power. I don't know if it's because muscle cars or whatever, but you don't have to have a ton of noise to have power. And, so far this week with us using them on multiple different properties already, number one is we've had no battery issues of them running, feeling like they ran out of power too soon. Matter of fact, we like I said the other day on my show, we went with the mid-range battery. Okay, in other words, not the smallest one it would take, not the largest one it would take, but we went mid-range with the battery. I think it's got 2.5 hour expected run time, and that's actual trigger time. Okay, which is a lot more time than what you think. Okay, I can tell you for sure it's more than 2.5 hours of trimming, if you will, because you're not on the trigger constantly. But that was one thing that we were made aware of and is true since they're not nearly as loud. And we actually we're going to do a video on that. As a matter of fact, Katie had that idea that hey, we need to do a video on the noise difference. But you see, I mean, the as far as I'm gonna call it torque. I don't. That's probably not the right descriptor for it, but the power of the unit itself cuts beautifully. Okay. Let me just say that the power of the unit itself, I'm going to say that again, cuts beautifully. Now, I'm not saying you got to run out and buy a steel product. I'm just saying that's what we decided to use. That's what our dealer sold, and you know, we're very dealer oriented on equipment that we buy and use because our relationship and partnership is generally with our dealer. Okay, and so I'm sure there's other good ones out there. I know Crest is great equipment, without a doubt. Echo makes great equipment. I mean, your brand that you like is the brand that you like. It's like trucks and vehicles that you buy and drive, right? But my point is to answer your question directly. Um, the ones we're using so far in the hedges we've trimmed, and we've done woody plants, and uh, we've done thanks, John. John said torque gets the load moving. So yeah, I mean they're up and going boom right away. Thanks for that insight, John. Uh we've cut woody plants like burning bushes, right? And cuts right through them. Okay. So so far so good is what I'm going to say. Um, and really glad we did. Matter of fact, but we still got a lot of gas powered equipment. Hedge clippers, let's say. Okay, I mean we still have multiple pairs of those. But here's the fun thing I want to tell you. We took two of them in for some service. Two of our gas powered in for service about a week ago, and dropped them off. And the funny, it's funny, but it's not funny. I say the funny thing. That's probably not the right way of saying that, but but I'm going to say it that way. The funny thing is, we picked them up. Okay, we went and picked them up this morning, and I said, you know what? This is going to be the last invoice. Or not the last. This will be. We're never going to get an invoice like this on our new trimmers, our battery powered trimmers. And it's not a huge invoice. It's only, I'm looking right at it, $76.08. Okay. For service on some hedge clippers. Okay. But it was a spark plug. It was fuel filter intake, where it pulls the out of the fuel out of the filter. It was, or out of the gas tank. It was that filter. It was an air element, just fuel related parts that needed to be serviced. Okay. Again, doesn't sound like a big deal. $76.08, you know, uh, but that $76.08 will never have on that battery powered equipment. And I mean, I couldn't have timed it any better. And with my show coming up, to talk about it. So there's 76 reasons right there on why we made the switch. Now, will it take a little bit of time for our team to get comfortable using battery powered equipment? And right now, we have not switched over to any bigger equipment, mowers, I mean, okay, no big ZTRs, anything like that. But what we're transitioning to is our 2 cycle stuff into battery and seeing how that transition works. And that's why I said, hey, we like Toa because we can plug multiple chargers into their charging bank system and let it regulate the power for us as far as the recharge goes. So that was my comment about Toa Tools. And Mr. Agawa and Carissa, they got a great product out there for that. But so, yeah, Mike, to answer your question directly, uh, we've had no issues with feeling like we weren't getting things cut um, as efficiently so far. Let me say that. So, and I don't know if 3 or 4 days of use is a fair comparison, Daniel. But it's a comparison. You know, and I mean, we've had several people that have used them. Uh, four. We've had four different operators use them and had said, "Hey, man, they like them." So That's where we're at. One of the things, and they like that they're quiet, more quiet. Number one, and Matt even made a comment, which is I think is really important too. He said it's going to be really nice in the summer. It's nice now, but it's really not going to be nice in the summer when you don't have all that exhaust fumes around. He says that was one of the things he noticed right away is you're not breathing in all that exhaust. So that's certainly an exceptional reason, you know, to think about it too. Is the environment that you're working in. So yeah, so far so good. That's where we're at on our electric equipment. Glad we made the transition so far. I don't know. Talk to me, in a month or 2 months or maybe a week, and I'll say, damn, is the worst thing we ever did. But I don't think that's going to be our response, just on what our due diligence on all of our research did. And, and talking with, multiple manufacturers. I know Chris. Gosh, Daniel, what was his name? God, he was with Chris. Golly. But anyways, I mean, just getting feedback from him, and just talking to just different manufacturers out at the expo. We talked to several while we were out there at Turfs Up Radio, doing interviews and thing, and talking about battery powered equipment. Let's see. Corey's got a question here. What is the weight difference as I am currently doing? A large row of hedges and my arms are killing me. Uh, I would need to Google it to give you an exact answer to that, Corey. But I think with the battery, the unit we're using, that HAS 100 hedge clipper and the battery, I think it's just under 10 pounds. Okay. I believe that's it, but I'm not sure exactly what the comparable model in a gas powered unit would be. Okay. That'd be something. Hey, Katie, can you Google that real quick? Just Google, like, what's the weight of a Echo gas powered hedge trimmer commercial version? Just, I don't have a model number, but it'll pop several up between 11 and 13 pounds. So the weight's right in line. Is that battery or gas powered? Gas powered. And what unit is that specifically, so I can tell our listeners? Okay, they're averaging out three of their models, and it's 11 to 13 pounds. So I know this still that we've got is just under 11. So Corey, to answer your question directly on our quick research there, because we did look at that. Okay, it looks like we're right at or a little below what the industry standard on a comparable brand gas would be. So they're not really light, but they're not excessively heavy either. Because that was one thing we did want it. That's with no fuel in it, so they don't hold a large capacity, as you guys know. But so add fuel and you add a little more weight to it, on those hedge clippers. So um, there you go. So it's a pretty even trade off at least, and it sounds like a really better trade off on average model weights. Okay, with battery being a little less weight. So hope that helps, Corey. On a quick notice, thank you, Katie, for checking that out. Um, John says torques keep the load moving, power gets the load moving, power keeps it moving. And we, like I said, we've had no issue with power at this point. And like I said, but we were forewarned not only by our dealer but also manufacturers that I talk to that if you don't inform your team members, that's one of the complaints they'll have is because it's not loud, they don't think it's got power. So we did tell everybody that before taking these out. Okay. And trying them and using them this week and trying them that, hey, it's not going to be nearly as loud, but just pay attention to the cutting capacity. Okay. Now, one thing Kyle did say, and about it was that it did seem like You went a little slower with it, okay? But that may be initially, and that was just one out of five feedbacks, right? Uh, but uh, we had guys with a lot of years' experience using these this week. To get feedback from guys who've been trimming with different brands and for multiple years. I mean, Matt's got 25 years in the industry. Chad's got 25 years in the industry. Derek had 30 plus years in the industry, and so we're getting feedback from guys who've been doing this long enough to know, what they're using and, hey, is it worth it or is it not worth it? kind of thing. So, we've had good experience with the blowers. They're smaller blowers. We haven't jumped into the backpack blower version yet because we were just starting off with the smaller handheld blowers initially, and then our experience with these hedge trimmers is really good. So um, we'll keep you guys posted. So far so good for us, I would say, and we'll certainly. I wouldn't be leery now of going out and just saying, "Hey, man, let's get another two sets of these things," um, without a doubt. So I do know that I'm not going to be replacing gas powered hedge clippers as they need any type of significant service. I mean, if it's past this 7608 service cost of spark plugs and filters, which any of them are going to need at this point. Um, I certainly wouldn't get into any type of significant work on them at all. So, looking to see what the longevity is on these too. So, and the cost per hour of operation, we touched briefly on that on my Wednesday show. But if you didn't hear us, it was it was crazy. It was like 94 cents an hour for fuel and two cycle mix per run hour of operation. And it was literally 2 cents an hour of kilowatt hours consumed in a per hour operation situation. So we'll see. Seth says he's bought a battery blower and hedge trimmer a while back and used them way more than anticipated and actually enjoys using them. There you go. So, there was a lot of pushback from contractors. and Seth said, and no maintenance cost is icing on the cake. Absolutely, Seth. That's why I said, that that 7608 invoice we got is the one of the last ones we're going to have on gas powered equipment, when it comes to hedge trimmers. So, and I think the first thing we got to move out of our mind, Daniel, and this is something where we sometimes are, and I think this is more of a male legal thing than it would be our women owners out there. But a lot of times we associate power with big motors, gasoline motors and that whole noise thing. And, boom, hear that, boom, boom, you like revving it up. But I think if we can get ourselves past that, the manufacturers of all this equipment, you know, all the major manufacturers, whether it's Crest or Stihl or Echo or Kawasaki, whoever it is, fill in the blank on who you like. They've put a ton of research and development money into getting these things right from a battery standpoint. They've come a really, really long way from where they were. I'm going to guess, I'm going to throw a number out there, maybe 10 or 12 years ago. Might even been longer than that. I know when some of those manufacturers were having us test some equipment for them, and it just wasn't quite where it needed to be. But I would say I think they've got it to a really good spot, and I'm sure, like everything, they'll continue to improve, on it. So, hey, I appreciate you guys being with us today.